Boneworks is finally out. I've been waiting for this long before it was even called Boneworks. When it was just a tech demo that Brandon showed off over at Node. Everything about this game sounded amazing. A Half-Life inspired VR game, full physics, and nothing but fun. There's a lot that Boneworks does right, but it's not perfect. Boneworks also does plenty of wrong. Some things can be forgiven for a small indie development team, and I'm sure the folks over at Stress Level Zero put all they can into this game, and over time they may fix a lot of these issues and improve it from its current state. But let's start with what Boneworks does right. Boneworks is a first-person, physics-based VR game. The goal of the game was to have the VR world make sense. If you see an object that you think you might be able to pick up, then you should be able to pick it up. Light objects are light, and heavy objects are heavy. You can also grab enemies on any part of their bodies. If an enemy tries to punch you, you can easily grab their fist and then punch right back. Everything is physical. There isn't anything in the game that you can phase through like other VR games. Well, at least not on purpose. The occasional bug does occur. Boneworks also has a well-defined IK system for its player model. Inverse kinematics helps the player model make more sense when you move your real body. And it does a really good job at it. Stress Level Zero definitely came a long way from Duck Season. Oh god, that IK system, that one gave me nightmares. The very first level of Boneworks is the museum. It is perfection. It shows exactly what the game is about. I spent way too much time playing around with the tutorials, just goofing off with the physics. It is a playground for anyone into VR. And finally, the headsets, these headcrab-like enemies. They are just such an amazing idea. Living robotic headsets that all they want to do is jump onto your face and force you into a deeper level of VR, while slowly killing you, of course. But Boneworks isn't perfect. It's far from it. First up, this might not even be a problem when this video is finally finished, but Boneworks doesn't have a way to manually save, and checkpoints are rare to non-existent, which is odd given the fact that one of the first things that the game tells you to do is to make sure to take breaks.
If you are experiencing any overwhelming reaction to mid-OS mechanics, please take a short break and come back to the mechanics after you feel comfortable.
Given that this is a VR game, some newcomers might not have their so-called VR legs yet, and might get motion sickness. So it's best that these people take breaks. But if they happen to close the game, they lose all their progress in that level, and these levels can be long, up to an hour. The game only saves after you beat the level. Most levels also lack checkpoints. If you die, you're sent back to the start of the level. Granted, you could run back to where you just were pretty fast with your newfound knowledge, but that's just a nuisance. Now, being a game from a small development team, certain things can be excused. Janky physics like how guns wobble, broken wrist syndrome with the IK system, or how texture work can use some improvement. The game tries to get away with some of this stuff by being set in a VR world. The game takes place in its own virtual world called MythOS, a virtual world that's being worked on, so that's the reason for a lot of dev textures seen in the game, and the low poly nature. But this excuse can only take it so far. Levels that look like they should be fully developed within the game's lore don't look so hot either. A lot of the texture work is poor and overall level design is bland. All the physics calculation in this game is resource intensive. Boneworks isn't an easy game to run. They also don't really have a AAA budget to really optimize it on release. So to make sure the game runs better at a constant 60 plus FPS for most players, some sacrifices had to be made. And I guess this is where they made it. But what I can't excuse is the poor lighting. There is no reason for these levels to be so dark. It doesn't add to the atmosphere or anything. Now, I'm not a professional game developer, but I have some experience in game development and I am a professional programmer nonetheless. I don't think lighting is that resource intensive. I know that real-time lighting and shadows are, but baked-in lighting is pretty cheap to my knowledge. But I could be wrong, and if anyone knows otherwise, I would like to know. Only one level in the game benefits by being dark, and that is the sewers. And that level is amazing, and it's fun to run through. But every other level is just so dim, like as if my HMD's screen brightness was turned down to 15%. This is a video game, not real life. Perfect lighting shouldn't be hard to have. Puzzle designs are really bad in this game, just plain boring. A lot of the puzzles are also reused. The main goal of the puzzles were to be open-ended. Puzzles don't have one solution, and any solution is the correct one. Most of the puzzles revolve around two ideas. 1. Move heavy metal block to either weigh down something or block something from moving. 2. Move a platform with hooks to a correct position. Now, I stopped solving the puzzles in this game, and just started skipping them by climbing over everything. The puzzles are just annoying and don't require a lot of thinking. Even the two types of puzzles in this game just boil down to move object to correct spot. There doesn't seem to be much thought put into the level design beyond the first museum level. All the later levels feel like first drafts, rather than fully fleshed out ideas. For example, I saw a series of climbable pipes, which looked like it led to a secret. I took my time to climb it, and was disappointed that it led nowhere. No secret Easter egg or hidden collectible. These pipes were just randomly placed there, or it was intended for something, but they never saw it through. And there's a lot of these examples throughout the game. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Boneworks. It's a great indie game, but everything I said isn't to be mean about Boneworks or its developers. It is to give my honest feedback. I love VR games and I want to watch them grow into a higher form. That takes time and generations of games. VR gaming is still fresh and new, and Boneworks is paving the road and lifting that bar. Hopefully Half-Life Alyx will do the same.